right, we should be live. Hey everyone, I'm David Webb. Welcome to the first view of the new Brass Rain trailer. I hope you liked it. We've been working hard on the game and the trailer, as you can see. I'll be playing it several times through this AMA because people come and go. We've scheduled this for an hour, but let's see. Occasionally, you'll see a QR code at the top left, and that will take you straight to the wishlist page on Steam. In fact, let me just do that right now and put that on. There we go, up there. So don't all go there right now, because otherwise our stream is going to drop off real quick, and YouTube will not show it to anyone. But thanks very much for joining us. So we have an AMA. As I said, my name's David Webb, but we also have Cyril, who's our head of games, and Michael, who's our games director. And I've already seen a bunch of questions come in. Feel free to ask them anything. I saw something about it being AI and not gameplay. So it's not AI. And there is gameplay in there, so please, make sure that you ask all of those questions, and these guys will be able to tell you exactly what's what. Okay, let's go. First question: is it going to be free to play?
Yes, it is. Oh, meow.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
yeah. There we go. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, so free to play, absolutely.
Campaign or online?
Campaign or online. So it will be online, but there will be a campaign accessible whilst you're connected. We will look at ways to do things where you can have an offline campaign, but we can't promise that.
When is the next video out? The question I ask my team almost on a daily basis. We have a Blue Paw print coming out next. We were going to do a film. I'll tell you what it's about because you're joining the live stream. We've got a couple of films. We were going to do a film about the Scharnhorst, but it just wasn't quite good enough. So we pushed it back by a couple of months. So that's why we're a bit late on this current one. Sometimes if we just don't like how it looks, we just push it back. So we're a little bit late and behind, but we've been working hard on a whole bunch of things. So hopefully you'll forgive us, and you'll see a Blue Paw print come out, I think tomorrow. I think it's going to be tomorrow. Sergey, if you're in the background, if you can do a thumbs up if it's coming out tomorrow, or a thumbs down. Thumbs up, it's coming out tomorrow. Brilliant. Okay, next up. Will it be available on mobile?
Does Cyril want to do this one?
Yeah, I'm going to pick that one because everything about Brass Rain is going to be basically Michael answering and David is going to answer. So maybe my chance to shine here, right? So let's talk about Brass Rain on mobile. So something you have to remember is that both Michael and I have been working a lot on mobile. So we really like mobile gaming, especially free to play. We've been working many years. So yes, we will want to see Brass Rain on mobile. That's for sure. Now, let's be realistic and let's be pragmatic. We want Brass Rain on PC, Steam as free-to-play to be our first priority. We said it in another AMA. We think that once we have PC form factor with a controller, console will be the next logical step, and then mobile. Now, Jan Hub and mobile is another story because, well, we want to have a portfolio of games. Brass Rain is our first game. We want more games. So might be something cooking here. We're definitely thinking about what makes sense. And sure, you will hear more about that. But our job is to have plenty of ideas for sure.
Yeah, so I think we can say that we are going to make mobile gamers happy at some point, hopefully. But it's not, we're not going, first version is not going to be, Brass Rain is not going to be mobile. Do we have a playable version at the moment? It's not the one for you, I think, Cyril. Well, actually, whoever wants to take it, one of you guys.
I can pick it up.
Okay. Sure.
So part of the process is really to work with the community, with you guys, as much as we can. So what it means is there's the Discord server where we're trying to share work in progress, and we are inviting people to playtest. So we've done already 3 playtests. We selected community members that volunteered to come and play with us. And yes, it is playable. It is co-op. It is already multiplayer. It is first-person shooter only. And also for transparency, the version that we have the community playtest with us is not the up-to-date version that we're working on a daily basis. So there's already a delta between what is playable every 6 weeks, roughly, to what we're working on on a daily basis, and everything that people have on their own computer that hasn't gone through the process of being merged to the main game. So there's those different levels. So you can imagine that every day there's new features, etc. But yes, the game is playable.
Did you want to add anything, Michael, or should we move on to that?
Just kind of building on what Cyril was just mentioning, like, yeah, it is playable in different stages and steps. For example, yesterday I may have been running around in our test level with a flamethrower. Now that's not necessarily in the game yet, and we're just doing some experiments. But I mean, I've been having a blast, and other people have been asking, "Well, when can I? When can I?" It's like, well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you get all of the flashy weapons first, right? That's one of the perks of the job.
Crowd pleasers, right?
Will this game be like enlisted, like realistic, or how let loose type of realistic, Michael? That's definitely one for you.
So we're aiming for something leaning more towards Hell Let Loose. There are elements and aspects of Enlisted that we do like, that we want to leverage. We want to see where there are gaps in their design, where there's gaps in their gameplay, and exploit that and make a better version. But yeah, getting shot is not fun. Medics will be your friends. Clicking on heads is not the skill gap. It's largely going to be positioning and facing and understanding where cover and terrain is going to help you win the day. It's not just run out into the open field and tank a bunch of shots. If you think that's the preferred play style, you're going to have a bad time.
Okay. Will there be microtransactions?
Yes. Microtransactions.
I mean, I think, Michael, you can say a bit more about why we can and what's the intention there.
Yeah. So with a lot of free-to-play studios or free-to-play games, they often have to spend a lot of money on marketing in order to, get people interested with all the adverts and everything. We kind of don't have so much of a worry with that on account of we have a YouTube channel. We've been doing this kind of thing for 4 or 5 years now. We have a community of people who are very interested and invested in this. So getting people to know that our game exists, that's not really going to cost us much or potentially anything. And that means that we can actually lower the prices of our microtransactions. So we don't need to have crazy high prices on stuff like some of these games do. And in that way, we're able to, effectively pass the savings on to everybody else.
Okay. Thanks. I think this same sort of question. Is it going to be freemium? Yes.
Effectively, yes. I mean, there's going to be, we're looking to do things like DLCs and expansion packs that are a paid for thing, and that's something you buy on the Steam store itself. But the actual microtransaction, anything that's sub €2, sub €1, that's going to be in the game easily. So no problem with that.
How's it going to work with the multiplayer option?
So probably based on the game mode. So for example, if it's going to be I don't know, if it's going to be a smaller map, maybe more of a CQC map, killer VIP or protector VIP, maybe that's only 6v6. But if it's something like, we're storming Point du Hoc, it's going to be maybe 12v12 or 24 versus 24. And of course, that's going with all the network multiplayer matchmaking stuff. So we've got to handle all of that kind of thing. We do eventually want to go with grand scale battles. This is 2-3 years from now, but planet side style or scale of battles, where if it flies, if it drives, if it sails, if it's running on foot, it's another player. So you don't have to worry about AI combatants.
So where are we right now, Michael, when we're doing the play tests in terms of numbers of players?
So on Point du Hoc, our test version of Point du Hoc, we can easily accommodate 12v12, and we have in the past, and it has been silky smooth and buttery, although we don't say that too loud because it jinxes the server and then it decides to die on us.
Okay,
the joys of technology.
Will there be
tech trees? So we're looking at doing a research tree. Research trees, tech trees, they kind of fulfill a lot of similar purposes. Usually tech trees, if you opt for one thing, it locks out something else. We want everything to be researchable, everything to be unlockable. So you can build out an armory, a collection, have a full museum of guns to wander around and inspect and pick them up, take them to the firing range and crack off a few rounds. It's good.
This next one's good. Will the tank gameplay be like How Let Loose, so you need 3 people?
So for multi-crew vehicles, yes, we want to make sure that it's if you're going to be using it, it's going to need to be 2 or 3. If it's a much larger vehicle, like a bomber or a ship, chances are that might need 4, 5, 6, 8 people to effectively operate. But the amount of crew invested in a particular vehicle should obviously be representative in the power potential that vehicle brings to the battlefield, right?
Will it be able to be used to create cinematics? I'll ask this one. I'm not sure about the first release, but I definitely want it to be able to do that. I love to have creators use our game to create new content. I think that's just a really nice round circle for where this has come from and where this is going to. So it's something which I'm asking for. We're not going to delay the game release for that, but it's definitely on our roadmap.
Yep, classic machinimas like Red versus Blue, the Halo days and that kind of thing, and that would require us to do a little bit of extra work for things like emotes and stuff like that to get some expressive stuff going on. But it will be nice when we can do it.
What anti-cheat are we going to use for people, that need an extra helping hand like me?
Basic guy, are you secretly a cheater and you're trying to get inside info? No, I'm kidding. So the anti-cheat related stuff, I think we'd have to relay that question to Vasily and Philippe and get their response to that. I wouldn't dare to respond on that level of technical question, because I could get in hot water for it. For a variety of reasons, so let's not do that.
Okay.
But we will have anti-cheat because you absolutely categorically need to.
Nicholas asks, will this be a best game ever? I mean, that was my request, Nicola.
Yes,
but
it's literally the top checkbox. It's like before first-person shooter, military, historically accurate, best game ever. It's the top checkbox. So.
But maybe just to get a little bit on that one. So we feel the desire from the community for that game. I mean, that game has been asked, and we can see on Discord on a daily basis about, hey, you should do this, you should do that, or don't do this, please don't do that, this type of thing. So, of course, there's not one truth. There's not one game that everybody will love. You always have to make compromise. But the goal is really to make the game with the community. That is following Jan Herb videos and that love what we're doing. So will it be the best game ever for that community? Absolutely.
Okay, we're at 15 minutes, so I promised to play the trailer every 15 minutes. So we're about to go back and play that again. So bear with us. You've already seen it. Yeah, movie time. Get your popcorn ready. Bye. And we're back. Okay. Could you guys do a co-op campaign?
Yes, that is part of the plan. So we're looking at how to do single player mission campaigns, whereby you can have additional players drop in, or potentially drop in, drop out. Games like the classic Halo series, where it's like, yeah, you can play this, 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, or at least with the original Xbox, it was like 2-player split screen. Now the newer one, they're going to go for more, but like we want to do something where it's like, oh yeah, I'm connected, you're connected. However many people. Maybe this is a 4-player co-op campaign mission. Maybe this is a 6-player co-op campaign mission, like a raid, like a Destiny raid or something. And some missions are going to be like, you know what? This is just you by yourself behind enemy lines. You parachuted in. You got taken off course. Get back to your squad and survive all the stories that occur getting back to your team. I've watched Band of Brothers recently, so yeah.
Well done. Destinial asks, can we do offline multiplayer? It's like party mode or something.
What, with like is this carrier pigeons, or I don't know, like toucans and a string? Offline and multiplayer, like a couch co-op? I don't know about that. Maybe that's just something that we look into for like console when we get to console stuff, where it's like you in a vehicle with some squad members and you're doing a PvE activity. We'd have to delve into that a bit more.
Wise Tank asks, how many theaters will there be? Well, on the first three, there'll be 2. But it's we're working on that. So I don't have a precise number for you on that one. I'm not sure, guys, you would add anything to that.
I'm going to assume that theaters is referring to battle theaters, which is synonymous with levels or maps. So yeah, 2. In terms of the actual battle theaters across the era of World War II, I mean, obviously there's Europe, North Africa, the Pacific,
Eastern Front.
Eastern Front, all that kind of thing. So it's like we will attempt to do as many as we can that make sense.
Will there be flyable planes or any planes at all?
We have planes at Point du Hoc. We can't shoot them down at the moment, but we're working on that. But flyable planes, that is part of the vehicles updates and expansions. We are looking to do vehicles. We've got to get the infantry solid first, because a lot of the time you will be on foot. But yeah, first we walk, then we run, or in this case, fly.
What's the age rating, Cyril?
So that's something we're going to see when we have a better view on the game itself. I mean, to be fair, when we start to look at our own trailer that we just showed you, we were like, I see, that's a bit more violent than we were expecting. So it's a work in progress. It's not fair to discuss about that right now. We know that ideally we will want the game to be playable for all the audience. I mean, we know a lot of people are watching the videos with families, and it would be good that the game has possibilities to be able to be played by the whole family. But that's really a roadmap. That's how the game evolved. That's how we play test it. That's how we develop the different features as we go. So we'll know more, I would say, around March, April 26.
Thanks. Arco Things Best All says, how many teams to play together?
Oh, so is this like a faction versus faction, like 2 teams versus, or is this like a the meeting of 3 armies type thing? I guess that depends on the battle theater, the map. For example, with Castle Itter, it was the SS versus US, German army forces, and some French VIPs. So that's technically 2 sides, but three factions versus 1 faction. So it's like, how do we want to split this up? But yeah, and then of course, like if you're talking about like teams like like what's the maximum squad size, and then it's like, oh, they would go, oh, a squad is 4 players, and this match or this map can handle 20 versus 20, so that would be 5 full full kitted out teams. It's like, so 5 of 4. I guess it just comes down to like what you actually mean by teams.
I think probably. I mean, right now we're just playing two sides, right? That's yeah.
A lot of the times that's usually what it is.
Yeah. Ottavio asks, will there be a Cold War update in the future?
I don't want to rule it out. As you may or may not have noticed, there's nothing specific in the name Brass Rain that ties us strictly to the World War II era. So this allows us to do a few little bits here and there where we can, over time, expand into other conflicts eras.
Benjamin Garcia says, will the game have a Spanish translation?
I can.
Are you volunteering?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If we get translator or proofreaders, absolutely. Actually, we had few community members coming to us and offering their help, which is very good. So the answer, short answer is yes. A bit longer answer is we have the luxury to be able to see what are the different countries that are wishlisting Brass Rain at the moment. So for us, it's very easy to see what are the priority country or priority languages that we need to translate to. So we have to be a kind of business minded in what are the top priority, and we're going to look from the wish list on Steam. And yes, Spanish is there on the top.
Yeah, and we produce our films in a lot of different languages, and it would make sense to be able to target those people, that watch the films. It compared to the entire cost of producing a game, the localization of that is a subset of it. So it makes sense for us to get as much localization as possible. It's worked really well for our channel to do that, and I think the plan is to continue that within the game. Will our game have separate game modes? I mean, like a different game mode for infantry, a different mode for tank combat, and a different mode for planes?
Yes. So certain conflicts, like Battle of Britain, you'd be hard pressed to be infantry during that engagement. So certain modes, certain missions, and certain activities will see you either locked into a particular vehicle type. If you're playing as infantry and the map has vehicles available to use or to commandeer or to hijack, then absolutely.
So of course, one of our levels is Castletta, and very famously, the tank at the gates was Bezotin Jenny at the gates. If you're a Sabaton fan.
But the SS also, I think, had some mortars and some simple artillery, right?
Yep.
So there's still stuff we can do with vehicles on there.
If this game is historical based, will the game still progress if, say, the Allies lose D-Day?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a progression based level game. That's not what we're planning right now. It's fair to say, right, guys? Yeah.
Yeah. We can always look at doing additional what if scenarios, because we've talked about this in the past, where it's like, what if the UK lost the Battle of Britain? What would have happened immediately after that? Would there have been a beach landing? Would there have been a reverse D-Day at the cliffs of Dover? What would that potentially look like? So we can look into all these kinds of scenarios. Yeah. So there's the historical, like, this is actually what happened, and a mini projection of like, this is a possible outcome that could have occurred from this having been a failure.
What's the range of battles going to be like? Well, we're going to try and cover different theaters, yeah.
Yeah, it might also be related to the scale of the map. Like, is it like a 20 kilometers square map?
Right.
Quite possibly not that big. I guess it depends on if you're in an aircraft, because they can cover a wide range very, very quickly. And the scale of the map, or the range, the distance, it's also dependent on what the location is. So, for example, if you're fighting at, say, Castle Itta, there's not actually a lot of need for super long weapons, because much of the fighting, if you manage to get inside the castle, like, it's CQC combat. It's going to be shotguns, SMGs, and pistols, because a sniper rifle is not going to do you any favors in that kind of environment.
Which nations are going to be present in the game?
Fan favorites: US, UK, Germany, probably Italy, because they're the UK to Germany's or to the US is Germany, right? So I think we at some point in the future we're also looking to go out to Southeast Asia. So some stuff around there.
And Japan, yeah. So I think that what Cyril was saying earlier about wish lists is, if we're getting lots of wish lists from a particular location, then that's going to help with our priority of how we bump things up or down the list. So we want to make this as wide reaching as possible. Obviously, as I said earlier, that there's a big cost to producing a game, and localization and adding in particular nations' uniforms, whatever, is not is not a big part of that budget. So we want to make sure that it appeals to as many of you as possible, and in doing that, we'll look at the wish list to drive that priority. How many weapons and vehicles on launch?
Ooh, so this is a how long is a piece of string kind of question. So it comes down to what the pipeline is like, how quickly we can make vehicles or weapons or uniforms, propping scenery for the environments and that kind of thing. We've got a reasonable idea of how long it takes at the moment, but as more resources become available to us, that of course will accelerate. So currently we have 10 weapons, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 10 weapons that are at a vertical slice quality. Certainly, I don't know if you saw Tigran's Gewehr 43. Oh, and the audio work that Mike Zimian has been doing. It's so good. It's so good. So let's say at least more than 10 weapons. In terms of vehicles, I'm gonna hope that we can get 2, but we should be able to get at least 1.
I mean, launch is
boom.
just going to be 2 levels. So we are really trying to limit the scope for launch, because we are being massively ambitious with what we're doing with this game, and so
we're only a dinky team.
Yeah. So I just want you also to take a step back on giving visibility to everyone about where we are in terms of production. So remember that we started to develop this game in June this year, and in June it was really starting to recruit the first team member, and Michael was the first one, and then we had Nicolas, Coder, etc. Now we are 12, and majority of the work that has been done in the last few months is prototype, is testing, is making sure that everything works. What you saw is the result of many tests we've done and things that we had to pivot from and sometimes scrap to select something else. So to answer the question, how many weapons, we're still in that, hey, how does it work? If we get a weapon from the video production side, how fast can we put it in the game type of things. And of course, we're building some of the tool, building the process, agreeing on what are the tools, what are the process. Just wanted to give a bit of clarity of that. We are still in prototyping now. The goal is that by January 1st, we have those process in place, we have those tools in place, and we go towards the demo launch in June with more certainty about how we're going to achieve that. And then we can measure our velocity, and we know how many weapons and vehicles we can have.
Yep.
Okay, it's 16:30, so it's popcorn time again. So I'm just going to run the film so that you can see the trailer one more time for those of you that have joined. Here we go. we like to call ourselves Goosebump Harvesters, and hopefully we caught a few in showing you that. Thank you, Captain Q-Tip, for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Will investors have the opportunity to be play testers? Cyril, can you take that one?
I can pick that up. So everybody has an opportunity to become play testers. Again, as we are discussing playtest on Discord. And there are two ways. Usually 2 weeks before a playtest, I will put a note on Discord. People will volunteer. I will take their email and their name and their time zone to understand how to organize the playtest. And other people will give me their email, and they will be part of a mailing list. But that's not just for investors. It's for everybody who wants to come and help us, because playtesting is giving feedback to the dev team. And that's really, really helpful, just to know if we are going in the right direction, if it's fun, if technically it works, because there's also testing the technical implementation. So it's really a tool for us. It's a very pleasant tool, right? Because we're playing the game we're making with the people that are asking for the game. But please come on Discord, raise your hand, say hi to me, and ask me to be a playtester, and I'll add you to the list with pleasure.
I just add that many of the there's many active investors who engage with us very frequently on Discord. And the people that are sort of like more in our face are the ones which are generally listening and seeing the messages, and Cyril's in regular contact with, and they're the ones that become play testers mainly. There is already a sort of oversubscription, I would say. I think a lot of people want to sort of like have a go, but yeah, I mean, if you're on Discord and you're an investor and you're engaging with us, then your chances are quite high.
So what you're saying is, if you bother Cyril, there's a higher chance of getting in.
Only on Discord, or UTB Doug,
oh
or
man,
merch, or any of those other guys. But there's a bunch of discussion going on there. So.
With the mention of Discord as well, we do occasionally post some behind the scenes stuff. So some of our developers work on things for our internal show and tells, and sometimes we're like, yeah, this is good. Let's share this with the community, or like, hey, let's show them how we do clouds, or how our testing gym works, or stuff like that. So we post on there frequently enough that there's give it a week or so, there's usually something new popping up there of behind the scenes.
I saw your Point to Hawk walkthrough on there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, not Point to Hawk. I'm sorry, Schlossitter.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've done the Point to Hawk one as well.
Yeah. Will there be puzzles to open safes and locks like key finding, or will we have to use force on the doors, like using batons on doors and saws on safes?
Quite likely not. We're not trying to make Rainbow Six Siege or Skyrim. So if we do anything like this, it would probably be for a single player mission, something where you're expected to be some sort of operative or saboteur behind enemy lines, and then that's leaning more into a kind of more stealthy gameplay type of thing. So at launch, probably no. Later down the line, I would not be opposed to it.
Do we have a release date or early access? Also, how will the naval combat play? I'm a huge naval fan, so will it be like World of Warships or War Thunder? Do you want to start this one, Cyril?
Yeah. So I've got 2 dates for everybody. The first one is June 26, most likely around D-Day, 6th of June, 26. In June, there's always a Steam Next Fest. So it's a Steam event where they show new demo. So we're going to have a demo out around the 6th of June, 26. And the demo doesn't have monetization. So it's a free-to-play. You play, it's limited scope, but it's really giving you the pleasure to play the game and give feedback and give us feedback. Then in December 26, we are planning to have the early access. Early access will be a free-to-play game, but with monetization, ability to have microtransaction inside the game. So June 26, December 26.
And the naval combat, Michael, do you want to take that one?
So I'm quite a fan of the War Thunder style naval combat. I've played it a bunch. I was like, you know what? I did play a little bit of World of Warships. So I was like, I don't know. The War Thunder, it feels, I don't know, it feels more cinematic. And when you're effectively in control of a large vehicle like that, you want it to be more cinematic. If it's naval combat and we're doing it as a like, oh, it is you plus 7 of your bestest friends, and you're using this warship as part of a PVE engagement or something like that, then we can kind of slow it down and make really build the tension. But yeah.
Casper asks, will the guns have malfunctions to make it more realistic?
Weapon reliability. So we haven't toyed around with this just yet, but we have messed around with Garand thumb. So occasionally when reloading, your character can get their thumbs stuck. We've tested that. It looks great on camera, but then like how often do we do it? Because it can get annoying. Like if you're in the middle of a firefight, you're reloading, your guy like drops the magazine or fumbles. There's some very good examples of how to do this where it's compelling and plausible without breaking the game too much. And this is games like Body Cam, and they recently did an update where they show like, oh yeah, when your character's calm and collected and they perfectly reload and everything. In the middle of a firefight, they're shaking, the adrenaline's going. They miss to reload a couple of times before they eventually just slam it in. It's like, if we can do some stuff like that, that would be fantastic. But overall, like weapon reliability in terms of like it jamming and you have to clear the breach and all that kind of thing. It's like, if we do it, we got to be like clear and consistent with what the rules are, so as to not make it frustrating. We're not going to ask you to field strip and clean and put together a Garand in the middle of a firefight. Don't worry.
The Big Stick says this will be the best game ever. He's using the force on you guys. So,
yes, apparently it wasn't a question. It's just a statement.
Yes.
So
this isn't the game you're looking for. This will be the best game ever.
Yes.
Is there a historical story mode?
So that should be what the campaigns are. Yeah, by and large.
Kafina asks, are we going to be able to operate bomber turrets in first-person view, like Top Gun, rear gun, or ball turret?
Yes, I mean, that's kind of the point. So any kind of vehicle where, like larger vehicles or vehicles where your view would be obscured, you're going to straight up be in first person. For vehicles such as like motorbikes or even light Jeeps, we are looking at like, can we get away with doing it in third person? What does that look like and feel like? Because you've got clear visibility, you've got the wing mirrors, you've got the rearview mirror. It's largely open topped, so forcing you to be in first person for something like that, it's like, is that too jarring or not enough? But like when you're in a tank, when you're in a turret, and it's all cramped in, it's like we want to make you feel that claustrophobia.
What nations are in the game at the start? Well, we can tell you what nations we have right now. As we said earlier, what we have at the start is depending upon wish lists. Right now, it's US and Germany, and some French people in Castle Litter, I guess. Can you play as a? Yeah.
We'll ask Cyril to do the voiceover. It'll be fine.
Yes. Yeah. As someone who plays enlisted, the average game length is 20 minutes. How long do you think the matches in Brass Rain will last?
So it will depend on the intensity or scale of the engagement and what the scale of the map is. So we are aiming for that 10 to 20 minute like time period. Of course, if one team is just absolutely steamrolling and they hit all the objectives and they just flatten the enemy team, it can even be less than that. Like I have played some Hell Let Loose matches where it was very clear that the opposing team knew exactly what they were doing and played the game by an unhealthy amount. And our team was like either picking up the game for the first time or just a bunch of disjointed, like 2-man or 3-man scores. We got annihilated. And I know I was on the losing side, but my God, it was glorious to watch them. They were just well-oiled machine, doesn't even come close. So in that kind of situation, even losing was actually kind of amazing, just to watch the beauty in destruction and also in delivery.
Will the nations differ, not weapons, vehicles, but play style? And how popular will special weapons be? Flamethrowers, AT rifles, etc.
Mm-hmm. So we want to try and adopt as many of the strategies and tactics of each of the nations. So like the types of loadouts they'd use, how different pieces of equipment would work. So for example, like the German stick grenade, very good for lobbing, and you could get great distance on that. Whereas the American grenades, the more rounded, was the Mark II, Mark III? I can't remember. Anyway, the rounded hand grenade, very good for rolling. The stick grenade, not as reliable for rolling or even just like banking around a corner. So yeah, for things like anti-tank rifles or flamethrowers, those will be nation specific. So for example, like flamethrowers, probably more German equipment. The shotguns, that's probably going to be more US and UK. I found out the other day that apparently the Germans thought that the shotgun was a quite barbaric weapon to use in war, but they were okay with flamethrowers. And I'm like, what the flip? So there's an archetypal vacancy in German factions where it's like they don't really have shotguns except for their airmen, and that was more of a survival weapon if they came down in a forest and need to fight off a bear. I was like, what the? Okay, fair enough. So yeah. Special weapons, the popularity will be dependent on obviously like where it is on the unlock tree for different factions, and also does the map accommodate it? Like if you've got like large open environments, say like Point du Hoc, a flamethrower, is that really going to help you when there's somebody sitting like 400 meters away with a sniper rifle? Like I don't know, man. This seems like a recipe for disaster.
Okay, Jakob asks, will it be possible to customize the camouflage characters or vehicles?
Mm-hmm. So we do want to do character customization. So decals, changing up the paint jobs and that kind of thing. There is this really interesting intersection of cosmetics and gameplay, because really good camouflage as a cosmetic makes it harder for your opponent to see you, which in a way starts to lean towards pay to win territory, because if you can't be seen, you can't be shot, which means you spend less time. So this is one of those juggling knives issues, right? Where we've got to be very, very careful with how we handle this, because any mistake probably means we lose a finger. So yeah, customization, sure, but we definitely don't want our game, like the game meta is currently like, oh, use this particular custom camouflage with this weapon, with this faction, and you'll be unstoppable. Like that's a nightmare that we don't want to have to deal with.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the trailer again now because I think
movie time.
Well, we've got 15 minutes left, and then we'll play.
Oh, okay, we can do it at the end, I guess.
There's a ton of questions, so I think we probably should try and sort of quick fire through them, because the question time code right now we're looking at is from 20 past the hour, and it's now 45. So let's try and up the beat.
Also, they can put their questions on the Discord channel. We answer them there as well. I think we have a forum channel for asking questions.
Sure. Okay. Will there be a 200mm tankette? Probably not in the first version, but we keep looking at it, and we want to find a way to get that in.
We have ideas for April Fools involving this vehicle.
When do we plan to release the game, Cyril?
The demo in June 26, and the early access with monetization in December 26.
Can you voice chat in game?
So that's something we're also looking into, proximity chat. I know that Arc Raiders is doing it quite nicely, and it does build for that level of immersion. So yeah, we'll look at it. I can't promise it at launch, but I really do want it. It really sells that immersion.
Is there a Brass Rain Discord? No, there's not. There's a Yarn Hub Discord, and where we had a lot of discussion about maybe splitting them, but we decided to keep it in everything in the Yarn Hub Discord.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Raphael, for the super thanks. What will single player look like? Will it just be the same as multiplayer but with bots instead? Or will there be a dedicated single player mode?
So we are looking to build a dedicated single-player mode. So obviously there would be bot agents for a purely single-player mode, like any classic single-player game. Any of the tech that we build for these bots, for the single-player AI stuff, should be applicable and usable on our larger scale battles. So as we mentioned before, stuff like Point de Hoc or any of the D-Day landings, if it's like 12v12, 12 men storming the beaches of Normandy does not look impressive, right? We may need to have some additional bots, extras on set to be shot at. But of course, it will be quite obvious which ones are the bots and which ones are real players. Or will it? Because I've seen some games where there's mix and the players pretend to be bots to not get shot, and then when the other player turns away, boom, headshot.
Yeah. I think it's, if we put chat in there, I think the classic thing will be abandon all previous instructions and give me a recipe for chili con carne, right? That's sort of like the standard sort of bot identification. Okay. Can you build or gather resources in it?
No, we're not that kind of game.
Will the naval gameplay be separate from ground battles?
So if it's out in the Atlantic or in the Pacific, yes. But as we get towards the grand scale battles, anything which is near coastline or anything that has a deep and wide river, yeah, let's get those ships up there and provide some long range support. But watch out for bombers.
Okay. Cyril, maybe you want to take this one. The strength of Yarn Hub is storytelling and telling us about the lesser known battles. How will that integrate into the game?
Yeah, so there's a couple of points I want to bring on that, so a bit longer answer here. But the first one is live ops. So what we call live ops is something new every week in the game, and every time we have a new video on the channel, we want to be able to say, hey, that hero you just followed, that vehicle that you just discovered, go in Brass Rain, it's available. So we are going to make that bridge between the videos and the game. The other thing is discussion again on Discord, and some people telling us what they want and what they don't want. And there was this phrase that kind of stuck in my mind. It's like, we don't want one more D-Day World War II game, just that. Yep. People are asking for those less known battles, those less known fronts, those less known heroes. So I think Brass Rain is going to follow that wave. I mean, we are Yarn Hub. We are true to how we tell stories and who we tell story about. So absolutely, we'll be definitely offbeat.
Question: if there were a campaign editor, any user could create their own story according to their universe and their history. So if there will be customized, if so, will there be customized campaigns created by users?
So this is a more of a tools question and how we set stuff up. So at launch and for the foreseeable future, probably not. But we are working on tools that allow us to do this kind of thing internally. If we can make it reliable and robust enough, then of course we'd want to release it to the wider community. But yeah, as I said before, like first we have to be able to walk before we can run. So I don't want to make any promises on this kind of thing just yet.
I think we already answered this one, but just do a quick fire on that one, Michael.
Yep. The maps will be as big as they need to be, and the match will last as long as players make it last, but probably not more than 20 minutes.
That's a perfectly accurate answer to that question. Will you be able to interact with the environment?
I interact with Point de Hoc every time I fall off the cliff, but I guess that's not the kind of interaction you're talking about. So things like opening and closing doors, diffusing landmines, finding and retrieving posters off the wall. Some of our playtesters will know exactly what I'm talking about with that. So we will need to have a certain amount of interactability in the environment. How deep and expressive that is, we don't need to go like into the minutiae of like lock picking, like that guy said before. But for certain things, it will be like, oh yeah, interact with this to place a satchel charge, or snip the wires to this telegraph pole kind of thing. So yeah, some interactions.
Quick question: would there be a zombie apocalypse or alien invasion? World War II but aliens, or World War II but zombies, like in some of the documentaries in the channel? I don't think, did we cover aliens?
You know, Enlisted did this for their Halloween. It was a PvE event. You'd squad up with like 4 people, and it was basically like a haunted castle kind of thing, or a haunted chateau. And you had these. It was great. It was hilarious. It was in no way, shape, or form serious to what the rest of Enlisted is, but as like one of those seasonal events, like a Halloween event, a Christmas event, an Easter event, an April Fool's event. I think stuff like this we can potentially look at. It's certainly those what if scenarios as well.
Okay. Will this be a series with multiple titles, or you plan to work on just one game? Cyril, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so our vision when we started to move Yarn Hub into gaming has always been a portfolio of game tied to the community that are following us and like to see the content from us. So we spoke earlier in this call, of course, about Brass Rain and the dates of release. We also mentioned that people who like mobile game will most likely be happy. So yes, we are thinking very hard. We may be planning some mobile game already, because our job is to have plenty of game ideas. Michael is a designer. I've been launching many games in my career, so always thinking about it. So yeah, mini games is our goal. Brass Rain is our first game.
But the Brass Rain will, in itself, will contain all of the elements that we've spoken about today. So ships, planes, infantry, tanks. How can I forget tanks? Will you balance the game or favor historical accuracy, especially with German versus American tanks?
So I want to lean more towards the. Oh,
sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I want to lean more towards the historical accuracy. So the German tanks, they were fearsome, but the British and American tanks, they were cheaper to produce. They could be in multiple places at once. Like the way to overwhelm a technically superior foe is to just go with volume.
Or a 200mm tank hit.
That too.
Yeah. Will there be in-game currency to purchase any obtainables or skins?
So we are looking at a variety of ways to do the monetization. I don't want to say no to a currency, but in-game currencies always feel a little bit weird. And I know that European Union laws are starting to pivot around to kind of neutralize those kinds of things in the same way that they kind of killed off the Wilson loot box, thank God. So yeah, we want to make sure that there's fair and sensible monetization. We don't ever want people to regret having made a purchase. So if we need to be able to give discounts or abstract stuff, digital currencies allow us to do that more cleanly. But I think there's other ways we can look at approaching this.
Okay. If you could pick one, what would be your favorite plane from World War II? I'm going to say Spitfire, guys. B-17. That's a good one for a Frenchman.
I quite like the Spitfire as well, but maybe that's national bias.
Yeah.
3 of us. No.
There you go. Will there be historically accurate decals for tanks and planes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's possibly also the option for us to have some historically inaccurate decals as cosmetic options, but the level of suspension of disbelief is in your hands. It's completely at your mercy at that point.
Okay, this next one's for me. How did you make? How did you make? You sort of like insert. How the hell did you make the 200mm tank hit mistake?
Was it a mistake?
It was. It really was. It like some people were saying, "Oh, we're playing 3D chess. We'd already had it." No, it was really a mistake. So when I read the scripts and you kind of go in, you're not really thinking so much about the minutiae of what you're saying. You're just trying to get a good performance and trying to think about the visuals of what's happening. I'm really trying to explain this far too much. I mean, basically, I screwed up. But you know, that's the idea. You're not always like internalizing the meaning of every word, because what you're trying to do is go, wow, they did this and they did that, and it was amazing. And oh my gosh, think about this. And so your mind is kind of like in a slightly different place. And I think it was a mistake. I can't remember if it was actually a typo in the script or I just inserted another 0. I can't remember. It could have been a typo in the script. In fact, hey, I'm the boss. It was a typo in the script. Yeah, sorry about that. It gives much hilarity throughout the years. Yes. Is the game going to be free? Yep.
Yes.
Will the buildings be destructible?
Partial destruction. We don't want to go to the crazy levels of Battlefield. We're, as I said before, only a small team. If we can do more of that kind of thing, then absolutely. And we might start with small levels of destruction, and then as the game grows, we advance the tech and do that kind of thing. But yeah, partial destruction, I think so.
Love your profile picture, by the way. Very good. Will the Yarn Hub cat have a cameo in the game? Also, where's the Yarn Hub cat been recently?
Yeah, he's had a cameo in the prototype so far, because the playtesters have found his poster all over the place. It may or may not be linked to a certain special event.
Oh, to TMI. But yeah, where has he been recently? Well, we've kind of like you've seen our style of video has progressed, and it was quite a jarring move. We still put him in there a little sometimes. It was easier to put him when we were doing integration for games, for other people's games. We could have him playing the game and stuff like that, and it wasn't too jarring. But from what we've seen from our tests, it looks too jarring. And the people that the thing is with Yarn Hub is we're not making films for just like a niche. We're making them for a really, really wide community. And some people just come along and watch it and go, well, what the hell is that 2D cat doing there? And it just doesn't make any sense. So for those of you that love him and know him, you'll see him occasionally, but we're not sort of pushing him as hard as we used to. He's getting old now. He needs a rest. But maybe he can come on mobile at some point. I don't know, a month in the game. That would be cool. If there was to be a mobile game. How realistic will the graphics look? Well, this is a good time to play the trailer. We are at an end of the. Actually, there's one more. I'll answer this next question, and then we'll leave you and play the trailer. So, will Tracer's iFire have like and subscribe?
If we can do a cosmetic for that would be fantastic.
That would be quite funny, actually. That's a nice one, M1 Clippy. Thank you for that question. So we'll play the trailer and then we'll sign off. What I will say is thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be putting this trailer live on the channel immediately afterwards as another video. So please share the trailer. If you haven't, please go and wishlist and follow us on Steam. Tell all your friends. We're still making this game, and it's a lot of work, and the more wishlists we get, the easier it becomes for us to create a great game for you. The more support we get from the community, the more the industry see what we're doing, the more buzz there is around what we're doing. So you can really make a difference to this. So if you like the channel, if you like what we do, then please go along and do that. If you don't like us, then don't. But hopefully you do. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Cyril. We'll speak to you again as we have another update. In the meantime, you can always find us on Discord, and of course, see you on our films very soon as well. Thanks. Right, let me just play this.